Okay. Hey everyone, welcome back to another 180 episode. We're here once again without a guest today, but before we get started, why don't you guys check out all of our social medias at 180 Shift and also our website at 180shift.org to check out what we're all about. But Tara, she's ready. She's already ready for it.
I'm Tara. Yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yes. A little bit of a change today. I decided to bring my mug instead.
It's a Starbucks mug. Why do you have a Starbucks mug?
Because I like Starbucks.
Because part of the problem.
No. Okay. But like, I got this because I have enough points and I redeemed it. Yay!
That's how they get you. I walked into Starbucks the other day and I picked up one of the cups that they were selling, and it had like it was like two men at a wedding and they were getting married. I was like, why? I don't get it. And they were both black. It was just like, and then on the other side there was a lesbian couple.
But I think this is where conservatives and liberals kind of like meet, is that they both want to cancel Starbucks because conservatives don't like it because of that. The left doesn't like it because they don't support Palestine. I like that they support Israel. Good job, Starbucks. Okay. But yeah,
like them even less.
No, how's your week been?
Good. No, it's good. So
right.
We found out some crazy stuff this week. I found out that like two people that I used to hang out with in high school are both going on trial to, like, I don't know, they might be in prison. They might be going to prison, and they're like in their early 20s.
That's insane.
So that's crazy. So now I know a person, like, I don't know, it just feels like a handful of people that I used to hang out with are either in jail or dead, and it's just weird.
The stories you have, Tara.
Yeah. No, one girl is, she's going to be serving life in prison for selling drugs, which is, like, not good, obviously, but one of the drugs was laced, and it was probably fentanyl, and it killed the person that she sold it to, so she's being charged with murder.
Right. Was it, what degree?
Ooh, that's a good question. But she got sentenced to life. Mm-hmm. The other person is waiting to be sentenced right now. But the person who's being sentenced to life, yeah, it's just crazy because it seems kind of unfair to me. Like, I mean, obviously it's not good to be selling drugs. You shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
But she's just going to spend the rest of her life in prison. I don't know. It's kind of interesting because I don't think she's the one that laced it. I think she bought it laced.
Right. I mean, that's what's been happening with a lot of people lately. The drugs have just all been causing a lot of harm. But yeah, it probably is fentanyl because we've been seeing that.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I just had the idea cross in my mind that, like, so we know that a lot of the fentanyl is coming from the border, right? It's coming from illegal immigrants who are smuggling it into this country. And then college students and high school students get a hold of it and resell it. Mm-hmm. And then if they accidentally kill someone off of a laced drug that they bought from an illegal distributor, they are going to be charged for a crime that an illegal committed. Mm-hmm. I just thought about that. I don't know if that's exactly what happened in this case, but I do know that this is a pattern that is happening more. And to see it happen to my age group is sad because it's like, we're getting into our mid-20s now. And it's just like, whoa, like, it just really makes you think like, wow, okay, after high school, some of us went to college, some of us didn't. I became a mom.
Well, it's interesting to see the paths that people take.
Yeah.
And it's just so interesting. It reminds me of like when I was, at the end of some movies, like Sandlot, for example, you see the characters at the end, like you see what happened at the end, right? They give you the summary of each character. And it's so interesting to see that people's paths, change.
I wish I could see my summary.
what happened for yours, yeah?
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's crazy that things change. I mean, we're all starting to, Gen Z, we're the generation where finally many of us are either teenagers or already young adults. Mm-hmm. And this is the point where a lot of changes happen. Mm-hmm. And it's so crazy. But yeah, that's really big. Well,
going everywhere. What are your friends up to?
Ooh, that's a good, really, really good question. So, well, you know what? I had some good news. So this weekend, this is something that has been interesting, right? We've always talked about on the show about how there's some Gen Z that are just, not ready to commit. But there's quite a few of them that are in the religious part that are getting married young, and a lot younger than most people would expect.
Like teenager?
Well, yeah, teenager. And this is actually what happened. It's going to happen to one of my friends. So one of my friends, she's just got engaged on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was so exciting. I was so happy for her. And everybody at church, she was showing off her ring to everybody. And you can imagine the screams from everybody.
Now, how old is the fiance?
Fiance, he's younger. I believe he's quite a few years, months younger, I'm pretty sure.
So they're both 19. They're going to get married. He bought her this beautiful ring. Okay, yeah. I know this is kind of like...
He got a job recently, not too long ago, and his parents wanted him to wait till after he had already, had a house, has a car. But he
has a house?
No, after he gets a house. But the thing is he got some counseling. No, he got some counseling from some, other godly people, and were saying, I really do want to marry her. And they're like, well, you know what? You do not need the world's expectations for you to get married with
You
somebody.
don't need anything material in order to get...
No.
Yeah. I was just having this conversation the other day. I think it's so important to... be married, honestly, especially when you're younger, because then you kind of do life together.
Well, it creates a sort of a bond, right? Most people create bonds for team buildings. Is a great thing where you go through challenges together and it makes you stronger. That's one thing that happens when you're younger. You literally grow together, growing up together.
Now, do you need a love story, fall in love moment in order to find that other person in your life?
What do you mean?
I don't know. It seems like sometimes I hear that.
A love story? I don't know. I guess
you have to feel like you fall deeply in love with someone, and that you have to know there's no doubt that they're the one.
I don't know if that's necessarily the thing with everybody. I think you always have at least a little bit of doubts in your head, am I making the right decision? It's a big decision, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think you're ever going to be 100%. I think for some people probably more than others, but it doesn't mean you're making the wrong decision.
I guess my advice would be to just take the leap,
Yeah.
If you have an opportunity to have someone in your life that you love, that you have a good friendship with, take the leap and get married. Do life together. Everybody's
as long as you have values together that align, you will probably make it out.
Yeah, and I think there's
probably make it out.
Well, I think then the hesitation to date or get married young is because people, it's they over romanticize what it really means to be in love and what it means to find your future spouse. When in reality it's actually more just
I think I have seen that where people do romanticize. Even with my own friend group, where they romanticize what it is to fall in love, and it really is not like that. Love is a lot of things that we don't think of today. And in the Bible, the love tells us it's patient, it's kind, it's understanding, it's forgiving.
Yeah.
It's merciful. And these are things that we don't usually attach love to, right? It's usually this fuzzy feeling.
It has to be perfect. And it has to always feel like butterflies, but that's not how it is.
That's not how it is. And, I've kind of learned this as I'm growing. Love does not mean those things.
No, it doesn't.
And you know what? You do have those lovely feelings, which are amazing.
Yeah.
But those aren't going to stay with you forever.
There's a choice involved. There's a choice. It's call the girl, I'm serious. There's a choice involved. When you're married, you have to make a choice every day. Do I love this person? And if you say yes, then you are going to make the steps that you need to make. Even if you don't feel love or you don't feel butterflies, or let's say sometimes in marriage, you just can't stand the person. You're looking at them and you're cringing so hard. No, I'm serious, but that's why there's waves, in every relationship.
Well, there's ups and downs.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with some of my other friends who are hopefully making better decisions in their life. I'm trying to make better decisions in my life, but speaking of which, I know we were going to talk about banned books.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some stuff. It's a long intro, but I think it's some words that a lot of our generation need to hear. And by the way, if you guys want to learn more about marriage things and all that stuff, we do have a wonderful video out by Father Josiah Trenum. Amazing. Y'all should just check it out. It's our first podcast length episode that's reached over 1,000 views, which is amazing. So thank God for that. That's just so much fun to see the people are able to see that, and it's amazing advice. So y'all check it out. Such a
valuable message. Yeah.
Yes. So let's get into what's been going on. So this week, so September 23rd to September 28th is Banned Books Week. Okay. So these are just a bunch of like, I guess, people that come together to talk about banned books and how it's not okay to ban books, which I would actually fundamentally agree with, right? It's not okay to ban books just because you don't like it or blah, 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 these things. But I think that there are categories to where it is sort of acceptable.
Yeah, it's like, don't leave hentai in the children's library. Mm-hmm. You know what hentai is, right?
I'm like, cool.
It's bad. It's not good.
Okay. Well, you know what? Yeah, well, this is what I'm trying to lead to. Okay. So where it comes to is they're talking about banned books in libraries, specifically children's libraries and things like that. So there's been an uptick in those things, but in reality, I don't think it's actually banning books because, I mean, you're not actually taking them out of the system, like all of the world. You're not unpublishing them and taking them and saying it's illegal to read this. That would be banning, in my opinion. But what people are doing today is, what people are referring to today is when they remove the book from a children's section or a library because it has explicit content.
It's not age appropriate.
Right, it's not age appropriate.
So you're saying that there's a difference between banning a book and removing a book from a non-age appropriate audience.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's what we're talking about. And people are upset about these books being removed from what people believe is, you know.
Well, I'd like to talk to those people. Okay.
Well, you know what? That's why we have Banned Books Week. So if you want to go check out whatever stuff people are doing this week, you know, you can.
Dude, yesterday was my birthday. So Banned Booked Week is on my birthday.
I love that so much.
I'm 24. Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
You just happened not to mention that in the beginning, but okay. Because sing you happy birthday in the beginning. Anyways, okay, we're off track. No, but like, okay, so these are some of the top 10 books that I found that were the most challenged books in 2023. Okay, challenged. Okay, this is noted by the American Library Association. Okay, I'll just read you a few of the first ones, right? Number 1 is Genderqueer, a memoir. All Boys Aren't Blue. This Book is Gay, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Flamer, and it just goes on and on.
I literally read that from over here as Genderqueer Mermaid. I was like, that's interesting.
Well, okay, so these are some of the top 10 books that were the most challenged.
This Book is Gay.
In 2023. Yes, This Book is Gay is one of them, yeah. But those are the ones that were, I guess, challenged because they're not necessarily banned. They were just removed from the children's section, right? For not having
that's a good thing.
Age-appropriate content. Well, this is what Moms for Liberty says. Age-appropriate is not banning. Schools have the responsibility of keeping obscene and pornographic materials out of the hands of children, which is something that I agree with, right?
Yep, me too.
Now, of course, you got other places that if you want to introduce your child to these books, you can, but it's just keeping them away from children. Now, something else is when they mean also like pornographic material, there's a bunch of that in today's like children's section. Yeah. More like teenage things that are marketed for teenagers, known as the young adult section, which are in a lot of, I'm sure, high school libraries. Right. And then they have a lot of adult content. Yeah. And it's usually because adults want younger aged stories or plots, but with adult content in them, which are interesting. And that's what we're finding in books today.
Oh, yeah, totally. I remember in 7th grade, a girl brought the book 50 Shades of Grey and was like showing it to all of her friends.
Exactly. Something like that.
And then I told on her, I was.
Oh, really?
And they thought I was lame.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So that's one of those. Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of like among the books that were on there. Of course, LGBTQ books are on there. The argument there is that you shouldn't be talking about, I guess, sex before the child's able to understand those things.
Yeah, let a child have a childhood. Oh my goodness.
So there is actually a place for everybody. Actually, where I get my book reviews, so people know. If you ever wondering what materials inside of a book, go to Common Sense Media.
Okay.
It's literally one of the best things. They also do like movies and other things, TV shows, but they have a bunch of book reviews from the actual like organization or website itself, but also people comment and give their own 2 cents to what it is.
Can we bring up a graphic?
Yeah, the graphic. That's actually really good. The 10 most challenged books of 2023. Yeah, so we're talking about those books. But along with that, if you guys ever want to check out good books for you, go to Common Sense Media. That's where I review all my books. Because I love young adult section, but I'm like, okay, I want to know what I'm reading before I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
You know?
And our generation needs to be reading more.
Exactly. But just be careful what you read, because what you fill your mind, what your mind feeds on is what. Oh, yeah. There you go.
This book is gay.
Yeah, these are all the books right
And
here.
trans, apparently. It's also a trans book.
Yeah.
The Bluest Eye. Me. Earl and the Diner. Wait. What?
Well,
that's crazy. This one?
Mm-hmm.
I loved this one.
Okay, well, the reasons are down there.
Claimed to be sexually explicit. I actually just saw the movie. So, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, I really loved that movie. But I saw it when I was like 17.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess it's not, this one is not talking about me. Have not read that. You know, my husband is in a college class, and one of the poems that he had to read for the English class was literally just called Queer. And it was like, you know, one of those poems where it like sets up a real sensual like space. It wasn't directly sexual, but it was just like, but it was called Queer. So it was like, you know, already it had the tone of like, you know, kind of the LGBT agenda. And he had to like write answer these questions on it. And me and him were just like shaking our head like, wow, it really is as bad as they say. Like it is so rubbed in your face. Like this is not a political class. It's not like a, you know, anything that has to do with like love. It's just like, nope, this is a regular English class that is required by everyone.
Well, isn't that great? I love our college. I love our college system. Aren't they amazing? Actually, just our school in general is just like that.
But you know what? Speaking of the trans movement,
you do have a point on that, don't you?
There has been something very interesting happening lately in the 180 Shift, Red Angeles community podcast land. So if you don't know who Chloe Cole is, now you do, because she is a detransitioner. She was a formerly transgender child. She was directly harmed by surgeons who transitioned her, I believe, at 15, gave her a double mastectomy. And then she detransitioned. She stopped taking testosterone, and she started identifying as a woman again. And basically, if you read about her and watch her videos, she really had a come to Christ moment where she just went, I am not a boy. And even though the doctors are telling me I'm a boy and society is like affirming me as a boy, I am not a boy. And so she just recently came out in support of Trump, and I think we're going to play her video here in a minute. But us here at 180 and Red Angeles have some pretty exciting news in relation to this. So yeah, let's play the clip.
When I was 12 years old, doctors led me to believe that I was transgender. I was told that puberty blockers, hormones, and surgeries were my only options. They were wrong. Now, I suffer from irreversible changes to my body and mind that I will live with for the rest of my life. Today, Kamala Harris is pushing children into these procedures, limiting their choices later on in life. That's why I'm voting for Donald Trump, because he's committed to protecting children from these rash decisions. When I was 12 years old, doctors led me to believe that
so
I
what
was...
we had there is Chloe Cole, and I'm just curious, what are your first thoughts on that video? I think that was the first time you saw it.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that was the first time I did see this. Thoughts. Okay. Well, I think she's telling her story, which is a very powerful story. I have met her before, and I've had an interview with her. It was very short, but it was still impactful to hear her message, because it's something that you don't hear about all the time, right? You hear the stories of you know, people who transition, and many of them are, I guess, I don't know if they're happy with it, but they do have struggling things and issues with that. But you hear Chloe where she decides to go back to being a female, and it's crazy to hear how she is affected by the fact that she will never be able to have a regular experience as being a mother.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, right? Is she was never a male. Mm-hmm. That's basically her story. Is it's not that she went back to being a female. It's that she was like, you know, playing this role, mm-hmm. which is what I think. You know, just seeing how much women are just giving up all that you know, us as women have worked for hundreds of years to get where we are today in society. It's like that stuff is slowly being like taken down by the trans movement of male to female. You know, we see it in our sports, we see it in our privacy of having our own bathrooms, you know, and we're seeing it on our young girls who are growing up and maybe struggling with confusion of identity, you know. So her story is truly amazing, and that's why I am so happy to announce that we are actually going to be working with her to be making a short film and, God willing, a feature film, but, you know, takes funding. So we are going to start just getting everything ramped up with a short film, and we are so excited about it. And it's going to basically kind of tell her story and prepare us for the next step of making a future feature film, which is what her story truly deserves, you know. Mm-hmm. But, you know, this short film hopefully will, because that's the thing, like with stories and shows and movies and music, that's where like change can happen, you know, in our generation. Is through a great story. And so I really believe that if we get the ball rolling on this and, you know, people support this cause, that we could probably get this thing done before the election. But that all depends on, you know, our viewers' support of this cause of making a Chloe Cole detransitioner short film that will be used to push a larger feature film. But we'll see what happens, you know? Yeah. And that's the thing is we just have to pray about it. Mm-hmm. And if anyone does want to support the cause, I believe our website is live now. It is yougreenlightit.com, because Hollywood will never greenlight this story, and mainstream will never greenlight a story like this, because it takes like a wrecking ball to the trans movement, unfortunately.
Well, you know what? I think that if we are putting such emphasis on the trans community and their transitions, there should also be the second side to it that shows somebody who steps away from that.
Exactly, yeah.
It's only fair.
No, exactly. And it to be told as a movie, as a story with good production value, you know, a strong,
amazing
story,
script too,
a great art that can speak such volumes into our generation, that can actually change minds, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, we're pulling up. Oh yay! So the website is active. You can go to yougreenlightit.com, because you are going to be the one that greenlights this movie. So visit yougreenlightit.com, check out the project details, check out more about Chloe's story, and support this cause. If you care about this country, if you care about the children in our country, and you care about the woke mind virus that is polluting so much of my generation, Gen Z, this is the cure. This Chloe Cole detransitioner movie is a cure to a very corrupted culture. And God willing, it'll be one of many. I think telling Gen Z testimonies of how they, like, you know, basically took the red pill, like, you know, is something that I would love to pursue, you know, sharing testimonies of how people left wokeism. But yeah, any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I said, you know, there's always a second side to it, so it's only fair that the other side gets told a story, and it has its own space to be shown.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what I think.
Speaking of our generation, though, we did have a video of a recent Charlie Kirk video that blew up pretty big. I saw it early on. And the caption of this video was, "Did hater try to flash Charlie Kirk to get him banned on YouTube?" Have you seen this clip yet? It's blurred. Don't worry.
Yes.
We're not
you know what?
see
I did see a
anything.
part of this.
We're not going to see any tatas, so don't
Not
worry.
everything, but just a little bit.
It's okay. Yeah, let's kind of skip through it. Yeah, let's play the video. I think we should skip to the halfway mark because just before we hit play, she basically tries to call out Charlie Kirk to say, do you feel good about yourself just coming to college campuses
I saw that clip
and like
then.
outsmarting and burning college students who you clearly know more about, and Vivek Ramsey was there too, so it's like that's a lot of heat like coming on these kids. But then he pointed out, I'm a voter, you're a voter. It's a voter talking to a fellow voter in an upcoming election season. And it was like, bam, her argument was done. She started getting nervous. She started like not making sense. Her argument pretty much crumbled. So we can play it here. They'll just give me the thumbs up on when we can like it has the most replayed section of the video, which is of course where this happened. Okay, so we can play it when we're ready here. Let's see. So yeah, there's so yeah, I don't know. Before the
adults should be able to live freely while still treating children differently. If so, we're on the same side of this issue.
Listen, I agree with the majority of what you said. However, I don't think that you're understanding the implications of the laws that are trying to be passed.
she's very nervous.
Look, we got a head start in the conversation. We got a long line behind you. But my only ask is, forget the personal attacks or the stylistic attacks. Focus on substance. The more we debate that, the stronger we're going to be as a country. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I don't think you're focusing on substance, though. That's the issue.
Hold on. Look, he intentionally tried to provoke substance out of you. And you said, well, I'm worried about some laws Congress should pass. I have to ask, what laws are you talking about? Can you be specific?
I'm sorry, I'm very nervous, but
Okay, when
this
she
is what
says
you
that,
do. This is what you
seems
do. You take
intentional.
people
See, she
and you
just-
put them under the spotlight, and you.
Well, hold on. I didn't ask you to come up here. You voluntarily came to the front of the line. You didn't have to do that.
You're purposely antagonizing people on campus, asking
How?
people to come up by spreading your weird agenda.
How? What agenda is that? I'm confused, though.
So, Charlie, I'll say this. We'll
We'll
end on this and we'll go to the next question.
So yeah,
My biggest takeaway is he was drinking Starbucks.
he was drinking Starbucks. That is true. Starbucks is very convenient.
I love Starbucks, guys. I'm sorry.
I hate it, but I go there.
Okay, well, you know what? I can blame my friend for this because
Yeah.
she's the one who got me onto the. I like did not drink Starbucks until I went on a sleepover with her, and then she's like, "You want to try some Starbucks? This is a pink drink." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, what's this?"
Oh my god. Yeah. No, I remember the pink drinks. Oh my goodness, so good. No, so okay. I just had some thoughts when I first saw this video. I thought, okay, first of all, my first thought was, well, I'm not surprised, you know, like when you're part of a movement like wokeism that is so like outwardly and proudly promiscuous. I mean, zero value in their bodies, purity, zero value in any spiritual attachment that they have with their physical body. I mean, it's all just out the window. Like, they don't care. I mean, it's like, it's almost comical when you really get into, especially college party lifestyles, and you see it up close with a lens, and you're just like, wow, these people are like animals. I mean, there's even this term called roaching that I used to hear, and it was about just going somewhere random and just sleeping with as many people as you could in like a party. And it was just, they called it roaching because that's what roaches do. That's what roaches literally do. So I wasn't surprised at all. I was like, oh, some woke person flashed Charlie Kirk. I'm not even surprised. But when I watched the video, I realized that it may have been an accident, although I don't know. It doesn't really look like it.
I don't know. I don't know if it was necessarily intentional.
It didn't seem intense. She seemed really okay.
she seems really into the conversation. I really don't think it was intentional, so I don't know.
Well, it's sad though, because now she's going viral, and I'm sure some people are like, "Who is this girl?" Like,
it's interesting because I saw her other video or a different clip of her, but not this part of it. But it was an interesting thing. I mean, she went up there. I think she's brave enough to go talk to him, so good for her. But
well, very much like a liberal, though. Like a liberal will, of course, like take an opportunity to try and like school a conservative, call him weird, you know, go up there and call him weird for like having biblical values. Mm-hmm. Someone even said to me, oh, and you said it on your podcast too. You know, Sky Daddy. That's what someone referred to Jesus. Oh,
I hate that so much.
Sky Daddy.
I hate that one so much.
And it's like, so of course, I'm not surprised that she went up there because it's like, oh, she's bored. She's on campus. She's just gonna like go school him. She's pretty. She knows she's pretty. She probably knows that, you know, this is a good way to just go get attention. You know, which is, you know, what else are you doing with your prettiness? That's why women love, you know, Instagram and everything, because they just get to look at themselves and be pretty and everything. But it's like, I mean, it's kind of innate to who we are. Like, I'm not trying to, like, I'm kind of a hypocrite, you know, but it's like, I don't know, I'm not surprised about that part. But when you're wearing like a really short, tiny little crop top, the likelihood of you accidentally showing too much is very likely. And that's why I always speak towards dressing modestly. You know, I think women should hold confidence in their body.
They should, but I think, you know what, this is such an interesting thing because modesty is such a touchy issue for a lot of people. Yeah. And I don't understand why. I mean, there's not a problem with Muslims wearing hijabs, but then when it comes to Christians showing themselves being modest, everybody's super upset in the comments, and I've noticed this. Although I've seen a little bit of you know, Muslims and Christians supporting each other when it comes to the modesty. I've seen those videos, which are quite interesting. Yeah. You know, but it's terrible to see people look down on modesty and, you know, people who want to be modest because you know, your body is a temple, and, you know, whatever you're doing, you're attaching yourself, or you're attaching Jesus to your sinning. Yeah. Right? Because this is like, it's a temple.
It's like we don't belong to ourselves. We belong to God.
Exactly. And so if we do something with our bodies that's sinful, it's like, well, what are you doing? I mean, every sin is a sin against God, but it's like,
exactly, yeah. And then, but you're also damaging yourself, and that goes back to the relationship thing, because it's like, why is our culture so promiscuous? Why are we? Why do we dress like in almost nothing and think it's perfectly fine? Like, but it's like, well, because most of us aren't planning on getting married until we're like 35. But it's like, I'm sorry, how many partners do you think you're going to have when you're 35? How many partners is your future spouse going to have when you're 35?
Yeah, and you know what? This is the crazy thing, though, too, is like people like it. I'm sorry, it's like you know, our generation's like our generation's a little interesting. I
remember one of the things
that stuff. Even it's not even a thing with just our generation. It's the generations before us too, who have taught us it is okay to be like this.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I remember one of the things that my husband said to me, like, early on in us getting married, which we got married at, I was 19, he was 18. And he said, you know, I'm scared about getting married young. He was honest with me because, you know, he was my friend. And he was like, I'm honestly really nervous about getting married to you. Like, I don't know if this is a good idea. And like, I'm having a lot of doubts and everything. And then I just looked at him and I was like, yeah, me too. Like, we're teenagers. Yeah. Like, this is crazy. No. But I was like, also, like, because we already had a daughter, I was like, but it's the best option for Phoebe.
Right.
But one thing he said to me was, well, one good news about it is, you know, we're not going to have so many partners, you know, in our history versus someone who gets married when they're 30 or 40, you know?
That's correct. And that's a terrible thing. I mean, when you get older, you have to start thinking about, well, how many partners is my current partner having?
I don't care. Yeah.
And for me, that's like a disturbing thing to think about. Like, do you really want that?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
No, I don't really think people do.
No, exactly. And that's the thing. And that's why, unless you are married and you actually know what it's like to be married, you really don't. I mean, it's like you can't really almost speak on it because it's like you might be afraid, but like you've never experienced it before. So you really don't know, you know? And But I can tell you from a Christian standpoint that the joys of marriage outweigh like any fearful stuff. Like, are we going to make it? Can I support this person? What if we have a child? Like, the living life together outweighs all that stuff, especially if you have God involved. Yeah. And you know, that's the thing too, is I don't care how promiscuous you are. I don't care how much you think you're above, you know, I don't care how many girlfriends or boyfriends you've had. I don't care. Like, everybody cares. I'm sorry.
You know
everybody cares. At some point you get down to the root and it's like, oh, you care because you're sparking fights over this, or you're doing
you know what? But that's something that Father Josiah did talk about in the interview with him. Again, guys, please go watch it. Such an informative video. But he talks about how, if you sleep, you know, even if you know, like, you know, I know this person's going to be my wife or whatever, you know, if you still sleep with them before getting married, you really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You really don't. They could just die in a car accident, you know, or something might happen and you guys not actually get married. And now the other person that you're going to be married with is now going to have some doubts, especially if you're a woman. You're not going to have doubts like, oh, he was with me the same way he was with that person. And that's what he was talking about. And I was like, yeah, that does make so much sense that somebody would have those doubts later on because of those mistakes that somebody made. But
yeah, that's really true.
Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on.
But yeah, so
what's that? My mom sent me something. I don't know.
Okay. Once you figure it out, I'll just say something really quickly. So, you know, that's the thing though. Whether or not it was this girl flashed Charlie Kirk on accident or if it was intentional, either way, I think it's kind of like poetic justice of like, you can't use your body and your prettiness to win an argument, you know? And I think that's the bottom line, whether or not it was an accident or not an accident, you know? And I think that's a hard lesson that women are going to have to learn is like, you can't keep using your looks and your body. First of all, it's going to fade. It's all going to fade. It is. And that's beautiful. That's how life works. Look, let the 16-year-old, like, let her have her beauty. Let her have the 16-year-old beauty that she's going to have. Guess what? She's completely naive. Completely naive. So you get, you know, this peak of beauty, but you also get no wisdom versus, you know, the 30-year-old female who's still beautiful, but she's older now, but she has more wisdom. And then you have the 80-year-old female who, you know, is covered in wrinkles, but has so much wisdom that she can guide the next generation, and that itself is just as equal to any surface beauty, you know. Otherwise, everyone over the age of like 30 would just off themselves. No, there is still a point to life beyond our beauty, beyond our looks. Yeah. So hopefully this girl isn't getting shamed too hard.
My mom did send me a study. Okay, I'm confused a little bit of what she sent me. Okay, so there's a study that both men and women answered what they attracts them to a person. Good lover is number 1. Second is loyal. Smells good.
That's good to know.
Huh?
That's good to know.
It smells good, you know. Sexy, honest, understanding, supportive, sympathetic, warm, and considerate.
Wow. I feel like women know men better than men know men, though. I feel like warm should be number 1. Maybe not, actually. Maybe not. Maybe guys are like, no, I like her. She's cold. She's a cold B word. Like, I don't care.
No. But, you know what? What's very interesting is a lot of these are about a lot of there's quite a big mix, I feel like. A lot of them are also about good things. Like, I think the last ones are amazing. Like, honest, understanding, supportive, sympathetic, warm, and considerate.
Yeah, considerate. Considerate is one, though, that you like, that is one that I have seen blow up in people's faces. Because the truth is, when you really are committed to someone and you're living your daily life with them, there are going to be moments where you are totally not being considerate of your significant other. And so and that's where I think grace needs to come in, because it's like, you know, on those long nights, or like, let's say you have kids, on those long nights with the kids, or like you're just juggling stuff, or let's say you just like wanted to go out and have a night with your friends, you know, and and nothing unfaithful, but you just like went out to go like spend time outside of the house or something, and then the other person goes, "That was so inconsiderate of you," and just like freaks out over it. Like, I don't know. I think the considerate thing, it's like, yes, you want to strive to be considerate, but like, you have to be realistic, though. It's like you guys are gonna let each other down in that department for sure. Like, but that's okay. Like, But though, I just wanted to say the thing about the culture of being promiscuous, being super woke, like, just that lifestyle, and also instant gratification, and that includes like watching porn and doing drugs and drinking a bunch of alcohol or watching way too much TV, or just for some people it's video games. For any of those, a long time ago, me and my brother came up with this thing that was like, we called it the void, and I don't know if he got it from somewhere or I got it from somewhere, but we would always call it the void. And it was like only wavy people knew about the void, because it was like 2017 when we were talking about this. And it was like, and the void was basically the place when you go when the dopamine stops or the serotonin stops. So you've been like instant gratifying for a long time now. Some people do it into their like early 30s, and eventually it like taps out. It gets old. You realize that you need God. You realize that you need something. Now, some people hop around from different things to different things, from like drugs to sex to partying to this to that, the other thing. But it's like, if you're an intelligent person, you will quickly fall into the void, because you'll realize that all this instant gratification stuff that you've been doing is it's not working. It's not a long-term solution. It's a short-term solution.
Right.
And eventually you go, oh my gosh, I'm in the void. I need to get out of this right now.
It can't fill the empty space in your heart.
Exactly. And that's what smart people realize. I feel like that's what smart people our age realize is we're like, oh no, I'm in the void. Like, get me out of here. Oh, I just heard someone fall. I hope they're okay. Are you okay? Anyway, well, I'll check on them in a second. But right now we want to watch the trailer. So Prager Force, I think I'm a part of Prager Force, or I used to be, or something like that. But they sent me this movie. They made a documentary called The Void, and they texted it to me today. I'm on their like constant contact or whatever. And then I saw it and I was like, whoa, that's the thing that me and my brother used to talk about back in 2017. I was like, this is cool. So yeah, this is the Void trailer from Prager Force.
There's an odd paradox happening, which is that Gen Z has objectively a world that is more developed than ever before, perhaps even better quality of living than anyone in human history, and yet the rates of depression have increased by 50% in the last decade.
On a growing youth mental health crisis, where the depression and anxiety in young people have doubled worldwide.
ER visits for suspected attempts of self-harm have increased by over 50%.
People are lonelier than they've ever been before. They're struggling with making friends and finding partners.
Self-harm, suicide rates, every measurable negative impact on our mental health that you could possibly think of has taken place.
The more we have, the more prosperous we become, the safer things are, the easier life is. The more people are becoming suicidal.
I don't really see a way out of this depression.
It's like genuinely hard to admit that you're not doing well.
And we are facing down the first generation ever that on average is doing significantly worse than their parents.
So we need to be asking questions about, wait, what is going on in our society? What is going on in our culture?
We have a generation that outwardly appears to be having an awful lot of fun, and yet the mental health outcomes that we're hearing from them seem to be terrible. What's happening here?
Cool. Yeah. That was my first time watching that, actually. I knew it was going to be sick,
me
though.
too. That's actually...
I saw the Void title.
That's really, really cool, though. I'm actually excited to watch that.
See how they're making films, too? Mm-hmm. But they're making a documentary. That's the thing about the Chloe Cole project, is it's an actual story.
Yeah,
it's not.
It is.
But anyway, what were you...
I did have, something else I wanted to talk about real quick. I mean, yeah, we'll close up pretty soon. Okay. My mom keeps sending me some more stuff to talk about, guys. It's very good. It's very good. So, there is a Yes. Okay. So there's a singer. Well, she's pretty famous. She's done like the "Good Luck Babe" song and the "Hot to Go" song, which has been super famous. Everybody knows like that one recent trend where it's like, I hope they play "Hot to Go," and it's like a different concert or completely different space. But there's
they're all getting political now.
Chappelle, I think.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce her name? I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know how to pronounce her name.
It's all right.
So, she was asked about her taking a stance about this current presidential election. Okay, so she was, of course, everybody else is saying like they're gonna endorse one candidate or the other. Of course, we know that Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish, they're supporting Kamala, but she was touched or reached out to find out what her stance was. Now, for her, she actually has this very interesting quote, which I actually very much appreciate, and I agree with her. So she says, "I have so many issues with our government in every way. There are so many things I want to change, so I don't feel pressured to endorse someone. There's problems on both sides. I encourage people to use critical thinking skills, use your vote small, vote on or for what's going on in your city." And I think that's probably the best advice you could hear from a celebrity right now. They really should be giving this out instead of saying what they're going to be or who they're going to be voting for. Yeah. Like, yes, vote small. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Really good advice, because you should be voting on what's going on in your city and what's happening in your city. A lot of people don't, they vote for the president, they expect things to immediately change, and, things will change, but where you'll see the most change is actually in your city, your local governments, your city councils, right? All those things, the mayor, district attorneys, those are the people who you're going to see immediate change happening in the world around you. So yeah, vote for what's going on around you. And for those people who don't want to vote for president, you don't have to vote for a presidential candidate. But again, vote. You
should, though.
You don't have to if you don't want to, because I know people are saying that they don't want to vote in general because it's only Kamala and Trump. But again, there's other places around you that need your vote.
Yeah.
So many different places. But yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the common sense things that celebrities have said lately is not giving out their own opinion.
The annoying thing about when celebrities like chime in with their political opinions like right before an election is it's just like, okay, first of all, you're the establishment, Mm-hmm. You are not, I'm sorry, Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift has been famous like her whole life almost, it seems like.
It's been forever.
Yeah, seriously. She's literally been around my whole life, it seems like. It's just like, you are not the average person. Now, you could say like the thing that Charlie Kirk said where it's a fellow voter talking to a fellow voter.
You could.
So you can say that. But I guess I just find it... you know why I find it annoying? Because I just realized what it was. It's like had like an aha moment. Mm-hmm. It's because the policies that they vote for are always these anti-establishment things, but it's like you are the establishment,
Well, you know what, in that too, there's a separate
you are
the Charlie Kirk thing and the celebrities are totally different, because the celebrities live and they have so much money. I mean, they don't even know what it's like to be poor. I mean, sure, some of them might have lived poor, growing up, but majority of them now are like literally have so much money that you really like. Are you going to be talking about what was best for us that are currently living in this situation?
And I think about like Billie Eilish and specifically Billie Eilish and Taylor Swift, because they're probably like some of the biggest ones. Mm-hmm. Was it's like, I'm sorry, you guys are like expert capitalists.
Yeah.
Like you figured out a way.
That's true.
They are hundreds of millions of dollars off of a brand. And then you hired people to continue doing this. Mm-hmm. Like you are a part of like the 1% now. And how do you think you got there? Do you think you got there by getting taxed most of that money? Like, do you think you got there by I don't know.
You also
Like,
got all those
it's
Nepo
just,
babies in Hollywood.
It's just annoying because it's like when you vote for Kamala, you really are voting for communism. I mean, you are. Like, she's shamelessly communist. And so when you have someone who has succeeded off of America's love for capitalism that, we obviously have, releasing perfumes. I mean, the Ariana Grande and Billie Eilish perfume, where it's like, they've
all got perfumes now.
I know, it's like they're capitalist in every sense. I'm surprised they're not selling their like spit, I mean, but it's like, why are you guys, some people who have benefited off of capitalism more than like most people who ever will in their entire life, why are you pushing a communist? It just doesn't make any sense. And then, like we talked about on Saturday night when we were on 870 AM, we were like, well, it's the trend. It's the culture. It's the trend. It's what's cool. Being for women's rights is cool in the sense of abortion. Yeah. It's cool. It's like, it's the in case factor. But, or what's another one? Being for BLM is cool. That was
a trendy thing.
It's thought of like as
people
being
posted the black squares because it was a trend.
It's like associated with being a good person. Like Inside Out when it has that like brain stem and it's like, I am a good person in Inside Out too.
I have not watched Inside Out.
Okay, you gotta see it. But there's a scene where it's like it's like you get into Riley's head and then she has like a changing brain stem in her head that is her identity.
Really?
I'm surprised they didn't go woke with this storyline, actually. But basically, she gets, like, overly attached. Or not her, but the Joy one. The really neurotic one?
Yeah, Joy.
Joy is, like, gets overly attached to the I am a good person identity. So she starts getting in these really high anxious situations because she's people-pleasing, because she's trying to be the I'm a good person no matter what identity.
Yeah, okay.
That's why it's a good movie. But it's like, that's what people got stuck in with BLM. It's like, not being racist is one thing. Supporting an organization that exploits dead black people, like BLM does, and then buys houses in the hills over it, that's another thing. Judging people solely based on their race, that's wrong. That's wrong in the eyes of God. You don't want to do that. John Jay, our founding father, the first Supreme Court Justice of the United States of America, was like, you guys are talking about America, but you have slaves. He was like, I know you do, Washington. I know you do. He was like, I dare you all to sell your slaves. Sell your slaves. He had slaves. And when he sold them, he was like, this is not Christian.
George Washington couldn't sell his because they weren't his, though.
I know, but it was still like, John Jay was like, we cannot be promoting slavery because it's completely, it doesn't go with America. And it totally
I mean, yeah,
bit them in the butt because
if we
it's like you have to look back at them. Okay, you guys were hypocritical and that's why we're dealing with all this crap now. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, okay, be a Christian, don't be racist, but don't turn around and support something just because it's cool, because do you even know what you're supporting?
Yeah.
Do you know where all that money went for Breonna Taylor? Do you know? It went to a mansion.
Yeah, it did. A nice mansion.
And even the mom, I remember this, the mom one time said, like, we never even received, our community didn't receive any money from
they
BLM.
Did see that.
There was such huge backlash, she deleted it. But it's like that and the abortion stuff. It's stuff that, like, the average person doesn't actually deal with. Or, like, the transing kid stuff. But it's like, it's cool. It's the I'm a good person brainstem. Anyway.
Yeah. That's Tara's rant for the day, guys.
Sorry, did I rant there?
No, it's good. It's good. It's all good.
Yeah, you have any like last final thoughts for the last like few minutes?
I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, we can talk about this.
About dopamine.
I mean, no.
Well, are you ready to wrap up soon?
Yeah. No, it's because I was getting a text, and people watch this and then they text me their
that's good,
their stuff. But I mean, this is a good point though. This is in regards to what we were talking about of relationships and stuff. But the dopamine and how it peaks at 6 months. And then, especially people who are, remember we were talking about avoidance and like the attachment style stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, specifically for avoidance, they're always looking for that constant new limerence cycle because they want that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
And so they'll find a new partner to continue to find that, that hit.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's also this thing that I notice people do where they fall in love with like the idea of someone.
Yeah.
Or they fall in love with someone in their life.
Mm-hmm.
But it's avoidant.
Yeah.
It's like they'll never tell that person.
Yeah, that's so true.
They are basically like living out a fantasy in their own life.
Mm-hmm.
And they're egging it on. By the way, guys, that's the devil. That's the devil.
Mm-hmm.
The devil likes to do that to you. It's self-torture.
Yeah.
So don't feed into it. Just like spray it with Jesus's holy water. Like seriously, like the living water, like flush out your brain because it's the devil. It's not real.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed that is people will have an avoidant attachment style with someone that they secretly love or they secretly have a crush on. They romanticize the person and then they don't end up pursuing anything in their own life.
Yeah.
But that's I've seen that mostly amongst like incels, I've noticed. But Echo Mike he would back me up on that one. But anyway, like be a man, go ask the girl out. But depression and anxiety and avoidance. Go on.
Well, so those are some big problems, right? But another ones are like the Snapchat, TikTok, video games, obsessive gym time, even caffeine too, because it gives you that thing. Those things actually negatively affect you when your brain is trying to process other positive hormones like oxytocin, vasopressin, and GABA. Dopamine can literally ruin your authentic relationships and your ability to process anxiety and stress. That's the comment.
Yeah. And then when you can't process anxiety and stress, it just gets worse, right? It just, the problem like grows on itself, and it's
and some people have they don't actually have the positive hormones. Like I think even GABA is one of them that you need that you don't have naturally, so they'll have to like take actual like supplements for things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are all things that also add on to our conversation earlier. But
as we are closing, I have a flyer about the Chloe Cole project. We are very excited about it. We're praying that it's one of many and that it becomes an actual full-length feature. Yes. The vision is to produce the Chloe Cole movie, a full-length narrative feature based on the Gen Z LGBTQ story Hollywood will never, ever, ever greenlight. The plan is to shoot a high-quality short film pilot in support of a social media-driven crowdfunding campaign on X.com. That's right, X.com. That's the place to be right now. And GiveSendGo.com to greenlight the film ourselves. The pilot, a young detransitioner comes face-to-face with her younger male self and the therapist who approved her life-changing mastectomy. Pilot budget $31,000, raised via $750 units at 120% return with special perks for 7 times $750 level $5,000 investments. 7, right? Holy number. Anyway, so that's the opportunity. And you can either email chloemovie@yougreenlightit.com or you can just go to yougreenlightit.com to help Chloe Cole tell her story. Such a beautiful person. Such a powerful testimony that might actually change the minds of these woke administrators in schools and woke healthcare providers like surgeons who actually perform mastectomies on people who were minors. Pretty disturbing. So, we'll just be praying over that project. But thank you so much. I am Tara. And
I'm Ellie, and thank you so much for joining us once again. Please make sure to check out all of our social medias at 180 Shift, as well as all of our website, even at 180shift.org, and then you'll get to see more about us. But thank you so much, guys, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Make sure to check out all of our other videos.
Especially the Josiah one.
Yes, Josiah Trenum. Very good one to check out. But thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Just dropped my moment. No, I would love to.